do it. Going live across the board here. All right, looks like we are up and running. Welcome everyone. Happy Wednesday. A little bit later in the day for me, but I didn't want to not do a stream today. That's how dedicated I am to you guys. All right, so let's get everything up so I can see your comments. Ahmed, I see you as well. Let's go ahead and silence all alerts. All right, good. And I see some folks already piling into the room on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So welcome everyone. Welcome Jan. Victoria, hello. Auburn, hello. I see you as well. So here's what we're going to do today, folks. We're going to once again take a look at Adobe Premiere Rush. So I've done one stream on Rush since Rush was officially released last October. And that one went well, and people were saying you should do more of them. And I was at an Earth Day event a couple weeks back, and I just basically shot some random footage with my drone. And I put together a clip back then, but I did it in Premiere Pro. I thought, you know what? Let's re-edit that footage in Premiere Rush, Adobe Rush. So for those of you who are new to Rush, what is Rush? Why Rush? What's Premiere? What's Premiere Pro? Premiere Pro has been a long-standing professional editing tool used by professional video editors, filmmakers, people that do video for a living. In other words, if your job is to do video, chances are you either have heard of Premiere Pro or you're using Premiere Pro. Premiere Rush is for everyone else. It's for vloggers. It's for people that do event videos. It's for people that do videos, personal videos. You just want to, edit some cool stuff that's on your phone or your tablet. So Premiere Pro has always been a desktop product, and Premiere Rush is desktop and mobile. So I've got Premiere Rush running on my iPhone. I've got it running on my iPad. I've got it running on my desktop computer. And what the beauty of it is that when I run it on any one of those platforms and start a project or edit a project, it's synced to all the rest of the platforms as well. So Derek is asking, is Rush part of, I think you mean Creative Cloud? Yes, it is part of Creative Cloud. So if you're a full Creative Cloud member, you can go ahead and download download Premiere Rush and start playing with it. You can go get it from your mobile devices as well. So if you're on iOS, I don't think we have the Android version out quite yet, but if you're on iOS, you can go get it for iPhone and iPad. And the last time I showed it on the iPad. Today we're going to do it on the desktop. All right, so Mac, Windows, iOS today, Android, in the hopefully not too distant future. All right, so let me switch over to my computer where I've got Rush running. I've also, I got my phone plugged in, so there it is on my phone as well. And on my phone, as you can see, it's got the same project, that same Untitled project, the same Rush Live that we did last time, the same backup project. So even though I did all of this on the iPad, it's on my phone, it's on my desktop. So it didn't matter where I started it. The stuff is everywhere. All right, so let's go ahead and create a new project. We're going to do one from scratch. And again, I could do this on the phone as well. I can just go from scratch on the phone or the tablet, but today I'm going to do it on a desktop. Now, it wants to know two things. What are you going to call your project? I'm going to call it Earth Day 2019. Behind my head there is the title, Earth Day 2019. And the next thing it wants to know is what do you want to bring in? Like, what do you want to bring in? Do you want to bring in any of this stuff that looks like it's on your desktop? Do you want to bring in anything else? I want to go to my Dropbox. And in my Dropbox, I want to go to my demo files. And that's where I put this EV event that I did a few weeks back in April. All right, so what do I have in here? Well, again, I did this originally in Premiere Pro, so you can see some Premiere Pro folders. We're not going to worry about those, but we're really concerned about the footage. So this is the actual footage from my drone. This one didn't move because it's a still, so that's a JPEG image. I'm going to use that actually. Here's another drone footage where the drone's kind of just turning down and flying up. And I like the ability to be able to see these clips just by scrubbing through them, so I'll know which ones I want to include versus which ones I may not want to include. All right, so what's the first step? We gave it a title. We went to the folder where our stuff is. If you were on your tablet, you kind of do the same thing. You start a Premiere Pro or Premiere Rush project, phone, start a Premiere Rush project, and then you give it a title, and then you would go get your footage off your phone or off one of your cloud services like Dropbox or Creative Cloud. And then you would, once you got to where your footage was on your camera roll or wherever you recorded everything, you would then pick the clips in the order you kind of want to bring them in. So in other words, you're kind of starting the storyboarding or the editing process right off the bat. So I know the first thing I want is that JPEG because I'm going to use that for a title. There's a banner in the back of that JPEG that I want to actually use as the starting point of the clip. Now, from here, I can go in order. I can say, hey, this was, just looking at the file names, this was the first clip, this was the second, this was the third, fourth, fifth, because they're in name order. So I know what order I shot them in. That doesn't mean that's the order I want to bring them into the video or edit them in. Just because they were shot in that order doesn't mean that's the order I want to keep them in. So for example, the second clip I want is this one where I'm kind of zooming in from the sky going down onto the event. So I'm going to make that number 2. Then at this point, I really don't care what comes next because I'm going to edit it anyway. So maybe I will look at what was the first clip. That one's kind of cool, so we'll use that one. And by the way, you don't have to use everything. So if there's a clip you don't want, you don't have to bring it in. Only bring in what you think you're going to use. So I kind of like parts of this one. And I don't like this one, actually. I'm not going to use that one. I don't like that one because the tree got in my way. This one's kind of all over the place, so maybe I'll use parts of it. All right, so there we go. I'm bringing in 5 pieces of media. Bring in as much as you want or as little as you want. Maybe you shot it all as one thing. You'd only be bringing in 1 clip, so it's really up to you. All right, so let's go ahead and click Create. And that will start preparing the media. So it's basically doing all that Premiere Pro stuff that would happen that you'd have to figure out. It's doing it for me. It's creating a sequence or a timeline. It's dropping the clips in on that timeline. So it's basically, it's done my edit. I'm just going to fine tune it at this point. So the still was first. The clips came in their respective order. If this was all I wanted, I'd be done, but it's not. So for example, if I hit play right now, we're just going to see that JPEG for 5 seconds, and then we're going to go to that one. Well, let's go back to that. That's not really what I wanted. What I want on this clip is I'm going to click on it, and you notice I get handles all the way around it. I'm just going to go ahead and scale it up because what I'm really trying to get to is this banner. So let's go ahead and make this bigger. There we go. Make it bigger yet. Good. And that JPEG has enough resolution, so this isn't a problem. Yes, you can edit in 4K, you can edit in 1080p, you can edit in whatever your clips are shot in. And now that I got this here, I'm kind of not liking the fact that it's tilted. It was okay from the back, but I'm just going to go ahead and rotate it a bit. So I'll just pull out from one of the handles, rotate it, and kind of bring that in. All right, so now I've got that as my starting point, the banner about the event, as opposed to just a still image. All right, so now it is just a still, instead of a wide shot of that still image. Okay, so now if we hit play, that'll play for a few seconds, and then it'll go to this. Okay, now you notice when it, let's zoom down on this for a second. We're gonna zoom the timeline down. So we're gonna basically make this clip bigger. And we're just making it bigger for our viewing purposes. We're not changing anything about it. All right, so you notice that when it starts to play, there's kind of like a pause, like not meaning not a pause in the action, but nothing's going on, just people walking back and forth. And then the drone starts to move down. Well, I don't want any of that extra stuff at the beginning where it's just sitting there and nothing's going on. I really want to start this clip when the drone actually gets to maybe that point. That's where I want the starting point to be. So the process of editing, for those of you who are non-editors, is to get rid of all the stuff that doesn't matter. So the goal should be to tell your story and streamlined, or it can be shorter, 2 minutes. I'll play that for a couple seconds, and then it will go right to that point and zoom down. Now it's going to get to a point where it doesn't matter anymore. And I'm going to say right about here, it stopped mattering actually a few seconds back. Like, okay, we get the point. It's zooming down on some cars and some people. That means I really don't need all the rest of that clip. So again, I could trim it from this end, or I can grab the scissors and just click, and I just click the scissor icon actually, and it made the cut. So now I can say the whole rest of that clip I don't need, delete. And it will bring everything else forward. So we're now down to 3 minutes as opposed to what, here, let me undo it. It was 3 minutes, 26 seconds. Now we're down to 3 minutes. All right, so let's delete that again. And my goal is not a time per se. Maybe you are trying to get it down to maybe 1 minute for like Instagram, but whatever it is, you're trying to get it down to as short as you can. So now I would look at the next clip and say, what are my opportunities for getting rid of things I don't need? So if I, for example, go to this clip, I see some people milling around. And again, this is all drone footage, so I don't need anything where the drone's not moving. So let's go to the point to where the drone starts moving. Okay, now it's starting to fly. I see somebody waving down there. That's kind of cool. Maybe I'll keep that. So at this point, I would say this would be the starting point. I would delete the rest of that. I don't need that. Now we're down to 3 minutes even. Let's keep going. It flies over, and it's going to get to a point where it flies past this banner, and everything past that banner is irrelevant. Like, I don't need any of the parking lot. I don't need any of the structure. I don't need any of that pod's vehicle. I would say when it gets to maybe here, maybe a couple seconds into that, I don't need the rest. So again, we make another cut. So let's get rid of that. All right, so now we get to the point where it's another clip, and it's starting from that point. I think it's going to go back. So let's see. Does it go back? Yep, it goes back. So once again, I don't need to see that. No one needs to see that. I would say that we can probably start maybe even here, and let's go ahead and make that cut. All right, and let's get rid of that. Okay, so let's keep going. It's going back, 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 back. And I think it flies up at this point. Cool, cool, cool. I like the flyaway. Okay, then it kind of stops. And then I don't know what I came back in. Okay, so, and I came down. I get it. So here's what I want. I kind of want it going back in, but I don't want it going back in right here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say at this point, when it stops, or maybe right before it stops, like right here, let's make a cut. And then I'm not gonna delete the rest just yet. I'm gonna pick up the rest. Here, let's zoom back out a little bit so we can see more of the timeline. Oh, it had a lot of timeline to show actually. And zoom back out. So that clip's actually pretty long. But for now, I'm gonna take the rest of that clip. Well, here, I guess I can make my decision now. So it's gonna zoom in and zoom down. And then what does it do here? People just milling around. I don't need any. Oh, and then we start to turn. Okay. So let's say that I want it from here. And then it looks down. Let's stop. Let's cut. I don't need any of this stuff where it's just people walking around. I don't need any of it until it starts to turn. All right, so it starts to turn right there. I'm going to say we don't need any of that stuff in the middle. Let's get rid of that. And now let's see what we have left. It turns, it turns, it turns. People get seasick. I would say one turn was good enough. We don't need any more than that. I think I kept turning like 2 or 3 times, get rid of the rest. And now I'm going to take, here's what I said. I didn't want to use all of it together. So I'm going to say I'm going to go to this point. And then when it switches clips and starts to fly back in, I'm going to take that and put it on the end for now. All right, so now let's see what we have. So we have zoom out, we have turning, one complete turn, then we have this, so a whole new clip. So it kind of turned a little, then it's going to fly in again. And I was going to say I don't need any of that up front. Let's get rid of that. We're already down to 1:37. So we already cut almost 2 minutes off of it just by getting rid of stuff that doesn't matter. And this is the one that was kind of like all over the place. So once we go in and then it kind of turns the wrong way, we don't need any of that. So let's make a cut. Don't need that, don't need that, don't need that, don't need that, where I'm kind of all over the place. This was bad droning. Don't need that. Oh, and then that was it. So that was the rest. We don't need any of that stuff. So let's go ahead and just get rid of it all. Great. All right, and then we get back to that clip where we were at the end, where we came back in and we look down, and that's going to be our closer. So basically, we're closing on the same note that we opened. We kind of started where we were zooming down onto the people or the cars, and then we're going to end with a different clip doing the same thing. So Jamie's asking, I'm late, is this Premiere? This is Premiere Rush. So this is the non-editor, professional editors version. Not that you couldn't do professional work, but this is the one for everyone else. All right, so now we're down to 1 minute, 10 seconds. We're doing really good on time. So this is our beginning, middle, and end. Okay, so that was the basic edit. Now, what can we do besides just cutting things out that makes it better? And that comes into two things. It's a silent video right now because the drone doesn't record any sound. So adding music would help. And adding titling. Titling's big. And one of my favorite things to do in Premiere Rush and now in Premiere Pro with the motion graphics templates is to add titles that move that I don't have to design from scratch in After Effects. So for example, when we get to the banner and we get here, I would love it to put a title in maybe right about there, right as we start to go down onto the crowd. So where do I get a title from? Let's click on the T over here for titles. And you have two categories. Your titles, which these are the ones that come with Premiere Rush or any that you have downloaded yourself. And then you have more titles from Adobe stock. So these are titles you can search for, and the reason that those are good because there are always new ones coming in. As people create new titles and submit them to stock, they come in, and for the most part, they are free for you to grab. So for example, if I were looking for a title, I could say the word title in my search, hit enter, and it brought back 13 pages of results of titles. Now, the thing I don't like, and I hope they improve this going forward, is looking at these, I can't tell which ones are animated and which ones are static, because some of them are static, they're just titles, and some of them have animation in them, they move. You won't know unless you download it. So I won't know, or unless it says it in the title. Sometimes it will be nice enough to say in the title that it has some type of movement. So for example, fade in intro. I'm assuming that has some motion to it. Flicker title. I'm assuming that has some motion to it. Wipe in title. I'm assuming that has some motion to it, but I can't see what the motion looks like. So all you'd have to do is there's a little cloud icon right there. If you click the cloud icon, you're syncing it down. It'll take a few seconds, and then you get the check mark, and then you should be able to scrub over it to see what the animation would look like. Maybe, maybe not. Let's see. All right, that one's not. Oh, there we go. Okay, so there's my wipe. It took a few seconds for it to come down, and ooh, that one's really cool. So if you had a lot to say, that one's kind of neat to use. And once you sync it down, you literally just drag it into your project. Let's see what Flicker does. I already know which one I'm going to use, but I'm just humoring myself in seeing what these titles will do. All right, we'll give Flicker a couple seconds to come down, and Flicker. And by the way, you of course can change those words to say whatever you want them to say. So that one's kind of cool. I like that one. It's kind of funky into what it is. Let's go to page 3. Page 4. So tons of cool titles. Now the one I'm going to use is actually one that I did get from stock. It's this frame outline text. I can't remember if I used it last time, but it's definitely one of my favorite titles of all 13 pages. So let's say that's the one I want, and it is. I'm going to go ahead and drag it in. I can either put it in between the clips or on top, because I want it to be on, I want it to play on top of that video. So now if we were to play it, sorry, I clicked away. If we were to play it, it would look like this. And of course it says the word style because that's the default word, but we don't have to keep it that way. So let's go to it and edit it now. So I can double click and change what it says. I'm going to change it to Earth Return Day. I don't know if I got room for 2019. I don't know if I want to put that on the third line, but we'll just do Earth Day for now. Now the thing I love this title, but in this instance, I don't like that it's so thin. The text is a really thin font. So no problem. I see it's using Roboto Thin. There is no other version of Roboto, so I'll just pick a different font. You can use whatever font you want. At least there was no other example there. I'm going to use bold here. So bold will, oh, by the way, we should probably highlight that. There we go. Let's now change it to Roboto. There we go. That's bold. And I think there's even a darker version. There's black. Yeah, black's a little thicker. And I want something thick to show, because that's a messy scene, so I kind of want something thick enough to show. All right, so now if we were to play that back, that's the way this would look, with the Earth Day coming up nice and bold. And of course, you could change the color. You could change the color of the box around it. It all animates in and goes away. Perfect. All right, so now I would put a title on the end as well. But before I worry about the end, let's deal with the music now. So we kind of got everything looking the way I want. Got my opening title in. Now what I want to do is hit add. And we want to add some media. Title, media, voiceover. And by the way, if you want, I could do a voiceover for this whole video. So while it's playing, I could be talking and narrating what's going on. So you have that option as well. You don't always have to use music. If you want to talk through it, you can. All right, so the next thing I want to do is go to media. And I don't want to use any of my media in this case. I'm going to go all the way back to Rush soundtracks. So the Rush soundtracks are here. And if you wanted to hear what they sound like, just click the little full screen thing. And then you hit play. I need to put my headphones on because I can't hear what you're hearing. All right, I hear it now. And that's the one I want. But if there was, let's just play another one just so you can see that there are more choices. Let's hit play on this one. Nice, but not for this video. And let's just do one more. Let's do Garage. Oh, I don't want to bring it in. I just want to do, oh, hang on. Let's do play. It's okay, but not for this video. So again, I'm pretty set on bend. Can I deselect that? All right, bend is what I want. And you could, of course, you can add more than one. So I'm just going to add bend in. It's going to stick it wherever my playhead is, and it automatically knows to put it under the video. And now if we were to play this back, and we can close this, by the way, we're done with it. We can now go in, and you can see that audio track is much longer than my video. It makes my video go back to 3 minutes, but we're going to cut that. Now, one thing I didn't like was I noticed that my title, now it was my fault, just where it went, was overlapping the second clip, and I didn't want that. So I just moved the title back over. So by the time the second clip comes in, the title's done. There we go. Now I know something's going to happen right in here because I can see it in the waveform. I just want to see what that's going to be, or hear what that's going to be. All right, here's what I want to happen. I like that. And what I want to happen is, as that happens, I want that to be the end. Okay, before it starts back up again. So I kind of want the video to end there because it will sound better. So I'm going to trim. I'm going to say that nope. Now I could trim it from either side. I could say that I want to keep the end and trim the beginning, either way, and it will adjust accordingly. So I'm trimming off the beginning now and it's showing it to me. Great. All right, so now if we play that, all right. And that's kind of where I want the sound to stop. So once again, while it's selected, we hit the scissors, get rid of the rest, and I want the sound to fade out. So we're going to go to a transition, and we're just going to use a cross dissolve transition, and we can drag that right on top of the audio. So it fades the audio out in that spot. There we go. Probably trim it a little bit more. Hang on, let's see. Maybe something like that. Let's see what that sounds like. Okay. All right. I can nitpick that all day, but there's one thing missing and we're done. And that is I want to put an ending title here. So let's look at what we got for titles. And again, I can go to some of the ones I already have. Let's see what I've got here. Like maybe you want people to subscribe to your channel. So let's drag that one in. And here we go. Cool, I like that. And you could add text to that or do whatever else you wanted. Can you adjust the length of the transition? Tom's asking. Yes, you can. You can either do that a couple different ways. So you can click that, go to transition, you could go to edit, and you can adjust the duration there. So I can have it fade. That's actually a good idea. I can have it fade over time. So instead of it abruptly ending, even though it's a transition, you can have it slowly fade down. So good call. Yeah, see, it took more time to adjust and fade down. All right. The video Screaming Terry voiceover. Screaming Terry voiceover? Not today. I can show you how the feature works, but yeah, I'm not going to do a voiceover. Okay, all right, you know what? Let's just show you how it would work if you did want to do one. So we'll click Add a Voiceover. It's ready to record right now. So and by the way, I'm not sure which microphone it's going to use, but we'll see. Yeah, wants access to the microphone. So it gives me a nice 3-second countdown. And welcome everybody. This is the Earth Day event happening here in Atlanta, Georgia. We had a ton of people coming out looking at EVs and hybrid cars from all different manufacturers. Jaguar was there, Tesla was there, BMW was there, Nissan was there. It was a fantastic event and we just had a blast showing cars, showing people about EVs, and of course, just encouraging people to take that next step to help save the planet. All right, so with that said, cheers everybody, thanks for watching, and we will catch you on the next one. So I hit stop. There's the voiceover, and I don't have to hear it, but there's also an auto duck feature, so it would duck down the music. And here, I think I have to turn that on. I can't remember. That's on by default. Auto duck. There we go. Here we go. Let's hear it. And welcome everybody. This is the Earth Day event happening here in Atlanta, Georgia. We had a ton of people coming out looking at EVs and hybrid cars from all different manufacturers. Jaguar was there, Tesla was there, BMW was there, Nissan was there. It was a fantastic event and we just had a blast showing cars, showing people about EVs, and of course, just encouraging people to take that next step. Now, as soon as I'm done, the music should kick back up. Cheers everybody, thanks for watching, and we will catch you on the next one. There you go. So that's what Auto Duck will do for you. All right, so and Casey, yes, that answers your question. Casey was asking, could you have the music very soft and do the voiceover as well? Yes, it just handles it automatically. You can even see it in the waveform. When I clicked on the music and I told it to Auto Duck, it automatically brought the music down where there was talking and then brought it right back up when the talking was done. Could you make still image fade into the video? Sure. Here, let's do it. Let's add a still image again. I'll add the same one that we added before. Where do I want to be? I want to be here. And I want to be, ooh, that's really fast. Go there. And that's not where I want to be. That's a good still image, but it's not the one I'm looking for. There we go, demo files. All right, so we go to the same event and we pull that same JPEG in and add it, and it added it in the middle. We're gonna take it back out. And so you can have a still image. So let's actually put it here. And that still image is right there. And you can just simply say that you want to add a transition into it to have it fade, or I just want to see if I can do something else here. I can definitely do it with a transition, but I was looking to see if I had something else. But anyway, we can just drag transitions onto that clip, and it will add them at the beginning and at the end. There we go. So fade it in and fade it out. So yes, you can. All right. And that is my time. I am out of time, actually, overtime, but we made good. So yes, you can do the editing. You can do this very easily. Again, I'm doing it on my desktop today. Last time I did it on the iPad. Next time I might do it on the phone. It doesn't matter. And because we've been working on this project, here if we go back to the home area, it'll show us this project, Earth Day 2019. It'll show that it's synced to the cloud. And once it's there, that means it's everywhere. So if I bring up my phone, I'll get the phone to refresh here in a second. There it is. I see it coming in on the phone now. And there it is on my phone. So if I wanted to pick it back up and start editing on the phone, I could tap on it on the phone and start editing or share it out from there. So all your projects are everywhere that Premiere Rush is, no matter where you started them, no matter where you edit them. You can go back and forth between devices. All right. One more thing, of course, you have the ability to share, and you have the ability to share it locally. Of course, you can save out a video of the finished rendered video. You can also send it directly to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Behance. And you can do it all simultaneously, send it out to all of those sources. So if I were to say send it out locally, I can give it a name. Earth Day 2019. RU for Rush, and advanced settings. You can also pick your format. So it's going to do the same format it's in right now, which is 1080p, but you can also say that you want, I should be able to say that I want it to be smaller or bigger, but yeah, you can go ahead and change your settings as well. All right, and then of course you would just hit export, and it will begin the rendering. It's doing it pretty quickly. And away it goes. That would be my finished video to share everywhere. All right, you will be trying this out tomorrow and preparing some videos for a company exhibition at the end of the day. I encourage you to give it a shot. Is Rush supported on Android yet? Not yet, but desktop, iOS, and Windows. All right, so with that said, cheers everybody. Thanks for watching. And there's my video. It's already done. View in the Finder. It's over there. Here it is, and there it is. And welcome everybody. That's the rendered video playing back. Happening here nice and smooth, nice and crisp. Looks great. A ton of people coming out. And there we go. All right, so with that Everybody, cheers. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. I will be out for the next couple of days, but hopefully we'll be back next week to do more. Have a great weekend. And again, stay tuned to the channels you're watching this on for more video content as soon as it's available. Bye, everybody. Have a great one. Catch you on the next one.